Hello, how are you doing? I hope you all are doing great. Yeah, I'm also fine. Today I'm going to discuss this topic, the past continuous tense. The past continuous tense. You can see on the board. And talking about this tense, we discuss its definition, its structure, some examples, and its uses. So let's begin. Um, let's understand this tense from its topic in the past continuous tense. If you observe the topic intensively, if you see the topic intensively, the topic itself gives us a huge meaning, a complete meaning. So see, the past continuous tense. Past, it means something happened before this time, and continuous, it means continuously before this time, continuously, and tense time. Past, before this time, continuous, something continuously without stopping, and then tense time. So if we understand this is how this is gonna be easier, this is going to be easier and clear for us to understand. And talking about this tense, this is one of the aspects of the past tense, and this is the second aspect of the past tense. And we here discuss its definition, and let's talk its definition. Before talking about its definition, see, this tense is also called progressive, the past continuous or past progressive tense. And talking about its definition, the past continuous tense is used when an event or action happens continuously. When in the past, when an event or action happens, or an event or action is done continuously, when in the past, at that time we use the past continuous tense. We don't know its starting and we don't know its ending, but we only know something was going on, something was happening, somebody is doing something continuously but in the past. At that time we use the past continuous tense. And talking about its structure, while forming positive sentences, while forming positive past continuous sentences, at that time we can use this structure. And while forming negative past continuous sentences, at that time we can use this structure. You can see. And see, the structure is subject. We can use subject and then was word, either was or word, and when to use was and when to use word. We'll discuss just a word. And then verb form. The verb form is also called the present participle. For your kind information, I'm just telling the verb form. The verb form everywhere. The verb form is also called the present participle. As we say, the verb 3. The verb 3 is also called the past participle. We say the verb 4 is, or the verb 4, the present participle. And then we use object and then blah blah blah. It means other words might be there. And while forming or while changing positive sentences into negative sentences, while changing past continuous positive sentences, positive past continuous sentences into negative past continuous sentences. At that time we can use this formation. See, subject plus was or were plus not or anti plus purpose plus object. This is how we can form negative sentences. And see, for object and object, I have used here parentheses. We call them parentheses, and because the object in a sentence is not always compulsory. Without an object, we can form sentences meaningfully and appropriately. Let me give you an example. Listen. He was laughing. He was laughing when I was talking seriously. See, he was laughing when I was talking seriously. There is no object. He was laughing. And there is a subject. There is a helping verb. He is a subject. Was is a helping verb. And then laughing is a main verb, and there is no object. And when I was talking seriously is not an object. Other words might be there, I have already said. And seriously is an other word, for example. And talking about when to use was and when to use were, you can see with singular subjects we can use was, then purpose, then object. And with plural subjects we can use were. You can see here, were plus purpose plus verb and then object. People, you know what happens, people make it complicated, man. And truly speaking, this is not complicated and we can easily understand. See the thing. With was we use singular subjects. Singular subjects are those subjects which indicate only one. For example, I, it means only one person. And then see, I mean to say a lady, a girl, a woman, and then Tom, a boy, a man, and the sun. See, we use singular subjects with was, and singular subjects only one. They indicate only one. And then with plural subjects we use were. With plural subjects. It means those subjects which indicate more than one. See, it means 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and then we, you can see we, then you. It means you. In talking about the case of you, this pronoun you is used in both cases to call a single person or more than a person. At that time we can use you. For example, you, one person, or you if there are more than one person. At that time we can use you. But while talking about subject verb agreement, we use you with were. That's the thing. And they means more than one, obviously 2, 3, 5 people. Radha and Krishna. See, Radha and Krishna, 2 people are here. And in such a situation we use were. And the situation is more than one person. And with singular subjects which indicate only one, at that time we use was. And people, what they say, what happens if we use was instead of were, and if we use were instead of was? And I mean to say, what happens if we use this was with plural subjects and this word with singular subjects? They ask me such questions, and my simple answer is nothing happens. People can easily understand whether you use correctly or incorrectly, whether you use was instead of were or you use were instead of was. People can very nicely understand, because people can understand you are talking about a continuous event of the past. This is how people can understand. But the thing is, you might be perceived as a less competent and less proficient speaker. You might be considered a less competent speaker of this language. That's the thing. That's the thing we have to understand. And now here I have written some sentences. You can see positive sentences and negative sentences. Talking about positive sentences, see, we were playing football in the morning. We obviously a plural subject, and then were. With a plural subject we use were, and see were, and then it's a main verb here, and then it's an object, then other words. It is also called a prepositional phrase, or prepositional phrase we can call. And this is how we form positive sentences. While changing a positive sentence into a negative sentence, we change. See, this is how we change. See, negative sentences, we a plural subject, we, and then were. With a plural subject we use this helping verb were, and then changing into negative we use not, then verb for, and it's an object, then in the morning of prepositional phrase. Other words, blah blah blah. Other words can be there while making sentences. I have already said. And then another sentence, Tom was. Tom, it's a singular subject. Tom, and then was with a singular subject we use was. Then dancing, it's a main verb here, and all the time during the program. See here, there is no object, and other words are there. And then here you can see Tom wasn't dancing all the time during the program. And while changing into negative, with these two are called helping verbs, because with the help of these two verbs we can make or we can form the past continuous tense. That's why we call these two verbs helping verbs, or also called auxiliary verbs. And while forming negative sentences, see, were not and nt together, or if we used nt here, we would use together, WERENT. And if we used not here, we would use separately with was. I mean to say with was were we use not separately, and with was were we use nt together. We do not separate nt with was were. That's compulsory and necessary to understand. And then now let's talk about its uses. How, in which situation and how can we use the past continuous tense? In which situation, in which circumstance, and when can we use the past continuous tense? While speaking, while writing, and when can we use this continuous tense? And people talking about its uses, I just want to share in people something which might be entertaining as well as informative. So let me share. Hey, look. Never ask a coil word, why are you singing? Never ask a lion, why are you roaring? Never ask a jungle, why are you greening? Never ask a desert, why are you browning? Never ask a river, why are you flowing? Never ask a mountain, why are you laughing? Never ask the sun, why are you burning? And never ask the moon, why are you cooling? Because these are the qualities and these are the attributes of them, and these qualities make them what they are, and without these qualities there is no existence of theirs, man. And coming back to the topic, here we talk about uses. What can we use this tense, in which situations, in which circumstances we can use this tense. That's very important to understand. So let's talk. The post use is an action in progress, an action which is continuously going on ahead. In the past, in progress, it means at a specific point of time, at a specific point of time in the past, which was continuous at a specific point of time. When? In the past. See, he was walking to school at 8:30 this morning. This morning you met the person, the time was 8:30, and at 8:30 the person was walking to school. Whenever you met in the morning at 8:30, the person was going to school, and in such a situation we can use this tense. And another one is repetition or iteration of some ongoing past action. See, repetition, something continuously, something continuously, something repeatedly. See, repetition or iteration of some ongoing, which was going on, past action, some ongoing past action. See, Krishna was coughing all night long, coughing. You know, when you have a fever or a common cold, at that time you cough. The person was coughing all night long coughing. It means the repetition. It means repetition. The person was coughing all night long, the whole night. And then on the one, he was always walking. In the past, he was always walking, and the moment, the time you met, the person was walking. The first time you met, the person was walking. The second time you met, the person was walking. The third time you met, the person was walking. And in such a situation, some grammarians or some people, some grammarians, they say we should use the past perfect continuous tense in such a situation. But you know, while speaking, if the meaning is clear, people care about whether the meaning is clear or not. Instead of the past perfect continuous, we can use this tense, the past continuous tense sometimes, and sometimes instead of the past continuous tense, we can use the past perfect continuous tense. In this time, the first time you met, the first month, for example, the first month you met, the person was walking. The second month you met, the person was walking. The third month you met, the person was walking. In such a situation, you can use the past perfect continuous tense as well, and you can say he had been always walking. And if we use this sentence, the meaning is clear, and this is how we can use this tense as well. And then another use is, another use is past action simultaneous with some other event that is usually stated in the simple past. Past action, any past action simultaneous, it means together with some other event that is usually stated in the simple past, which is usually stated in the simple past. some past action simultaneous together with some other event. So let's understand it from the example I have written here. She was washing her hair. She was washing her hair when the phone rang. She was washing her hair. At that time, her phone rang. This is the second form of the verb ring. The first form is ring. The second form is rang. The third form is rung. The fourth form is ringing. And the fifth one is rings. So let me give you another example. For example, you were studying and at the same time your mom called you to have your lunch. So what happened? When somebody was doing something at the same time, somebody phoned that person, somebody called that person, somebody asked for something to that person in such a way. While doing something, another action happened simultaneously or together with the past continuous tense. I mean to say, with some past action in such a situation, we can use this tense. Something happening, and while happening that, another happened in such a situation. Another one is social distancing, which comes from the past tense and the tentativeness of the. I was hoping you could lend me 1000 rupees. See, let me give you another example. For example, right now you are sitting or you are there in your room and you are thinking, whenever I meet my friend, I'll ask some questions, some mathematical problems, some English related questions. You are thinking of that, and after some hours, you meet your friend, and at that time you say, I was thinking. And when you meet after hours, or after a couple of hours, or after a couple of days, you say to your friend, I was thinking to ask you mathematical questions. I was thinking to ask you English related questions, grammar related questions, like this. There is a gap because you were thinking and you ask later on. This is how we can use this tense. For example, social distancing. I was hoping you could lend me 1000 rupees. This is how we can use. And another use is a past equivalent of the present continuous. It means, see, direct speech. He said, I'm living in London. And while changing into the indirect speech, he said that he was living in London. With the same meaning, we change the direct speech into the indirect speech with the same meaning. And a present continuous sentence is changed into the past continuous while changing from the direct into the indirect. You can see here, if here the verb is in the past, if here the verb is in the past, if there is a present continuous sentence which is and which should be changed into the past continuous with the same meaning, like this way. That's why we say is a past equivalent of the present continuous. With the same meaning of the present continuous, we change into the past continuous. That's why we say is a past equivalent of the present continuous. Because he said, what he said? I am living in London. He said, the person, the speaker, said, I am living in London. Now we change the statement given by the speaker in our words with the same meaning. In our words, with the same meaning. That is, he said that he was living in London. In London, this is the statement given by the speaker, and this one is we changed into our own words but with the same meaning. This is how we use the past continuous tense. While changing direct sentences into indirect sentences, we don't use commas and inverted commas. We remove them, we delete them, we omit them, or basically you can say we don't use them. And you can see here we haven't used any commas and inverted commas. Another one is to show a duration. See, from 4 to 6, how people use the past continuous tense we are discussing. And from 4 to 6, Alex was washing the car. Under its definition we have studied just the past continuous tense is used if something happens continuously in the past, if something happens continuously in the past, or if something is done continuous in the past. At that time we use the past continuous tense, and we don't know its starting, we don't know its ending. We have studied just before, but you can see here, we can see its starting 4, we can see its ending 6. So again we are using the same tense. You might have a question. That's why we are studying its uses. And in such a situation, some grammarians, they say, they prescribe we should use the past perfect continuous tense. However, instead of the past perfect continuous, its speakers, they use the past continuous tense. But here you can see we can use from 4 to 6, Alex had been washing the car, and at the same time if we use this tense, the meaning is clear. From 4 to 6, Alex was washing the car, because the meaning is clear here. So another one is, what were you doing before you came here? What were you doing before you came here? You can see a duration. What were you doing before you came here? You can see duration. To show a duration before you came here, what was the task you were doing? So in such a situation, we can use this tense to show a duration, and sometimes to, instead of the past perfect continuous, this tense can be also used. So, and another use could be, sometimes people or its speakers, they use the past continuous tense instead of the past simple tense. For example, instead of saying I talked to Alex, some people say I was talking to Alex. Like this way they speak. So, and the thing is, whether people can understand it or not. If people can understand, that's fine. And if somebody says I was talking to Alex, it means the person talked to Alex, we can understand. So that's why we have to focus on the uses of the past continuous tense while discussing this lesson, so that we could communicate effectively and meaningfully. So we discussed here about the past continuous tense, its structure, its definition, and some examples, and some uses. And in our coming classes, we'll be discussing some aspects, and other aspects. And for now, thank you so much, and see you soon.